Welcome to the FITCAT feature for Run Radio. I'm Trina Wilcox. My guest today from Restoration Station, Dr. Debbie Williams. Welcome.
Hello.
So we're talking about those chambers behind you today. So for people that have no idea what hyperbaric oxygen chambers are and what the therapy is, pray tell.
Let me give you some background on myself first, and then I'll go into the chambers. Okay.
Sounds great.
So I'm an eye doctor by trade, and I've been practicing optometry for 30 years. And also I'm an insulin dependent diabetic for 31 years. So I was losing vision in my left eye. And by the grace of God, I was able to put a couple of things together where I could study myself and check my eyes. By getting in a hyperbaric chamber, it was able to reverse the effects of diabetic retinopathy. So let's go back to March of 2020, when everything kind of started going crazy in the world. I was exposed to a hyperbaric chamber and the ability to test that my eyes were getting better. And I would get into a hyperbaric chamber, which is filled with ambient air, which is the air that you and I breathe, which has 21% oxygen in it. And the chamber then pressurizes with the same air, ambient air, up to 2 atmospheres of pressure. And then that pushes inspired oxygen in deeper into my body, so that the super saturation of oxygen got to the back of my eye, called the retina, and it was able to stimulate stem cells and heal my diabetic retinopathy. And then 90 days later, I got in the chamber 40 times over those 90 days. I was able to run a test and prove objectively that my retinopathy had reversed.
Wow. So talk about a little bit what it's like to get in the chamber, to experience that feeling, because a lot of people have no idea what to expect when you start saying things like chamber and oxygen. And like it sounds
Correct.
scary.
Okay, so it is like a tube that you get in, kind of like an MRI tube or kind of like an airplane that you would get into. You lay on a gurney in our chambers. You lay on a gurney and it rolls in, and there's plenty of room in there. It's 40 inches in diameter, so it's kind of like being in a car. You're in a position, but you can move around. There's not a whole lot of restriction. You can't stand up. You can lean up. You can't truly sit up. And then you put a little nasal cannula on your face just to breathe oxygen, and extra oxygen gets put into the tube that goes in your nose. And then you can lay there and read a book or take a nap or listen to music, and be in there for about 90 minutes. The time varies depending on the reason you're getting in the chamber. So some people might only get in for 60 minutes, and other people might get in for 120 minutes, which is 2 hours. I personally get in 90 minutes, 5 to 6 times a week, because blind eye doctors don't make very good money. So I can't afford to go blind, because I still want to practice. I want to help people. But as we've gone along with our research, we've been exposed to how it helps other people, like marathon runners. It helps them increase their endurance. It helps their recovery time. So what it's doing on a cellular level is pushing oxygen down into the cell, which helps then the cells get more energy to recover or to heal if they're broken.
Let's talk about some of those different ways that people can benefit and some of the reasons they would be going into the chamber. I've been watching your social media pages, and you've got so many different things from neuropathy to skin issues. So talk about some of those reasons why people would want to even go into the chamber.
Okay, so there's many different conditions that benefit from the oxygen, but I will tell you that currently in the United States, in order to get into a hyperbaric chamber in a hospital setting, you're only allowed 14 different diagnoses. And those are dictated by the FDA and the AMA and those CMS, all the different people that manage insurance. And those would be like carbon monoxide poisoning, or radiation damage after treatment, or diabetic foot ulcers. So you can get into a diabetic chamber, or a hyperbaric chamber for diabetic foot ulcers, because they're going to cut your foot off. But right now, it's not approved for you to be able to get in to save you from going blind. So
Oh,
some of
goodness.
so some of the other conditions that we have treated in our clinic are psoriasis, Parkinson's, diabetes, long haul COVID, strokes, traumatic brain injuries, Alzheimer's and dementia, anti-aging. It's adjunctive therapy with traditional therapy. So what I mean by that is, as a diabetic, I'm not going to stop taking my insulin and just dive in a chamber, because that does not serve me. I still need help processing my blood sugar with insulin. But what the chamber does is it puts oxygen in my body, which helps promote my pancreas and my liver to process my blood sugar issue.
Another thing that is important for people to know, that it's very helpful to start making this a part of your lifestyle routine before you need it. It's okay to start it when you realize you need it, but talk about how it can help to just go ahead and start. I kind of liken it to eating well. Yes, if you get into a situation where you haven't ate well and you start, it's going to help. But if you can prevent that by eating well in the beginning, you're going to be a few steps ahead. So explain that method.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because hyperbaric chamber by itself will not help whatever your total body issues are. It's a whole package. So you have to eat good, you have to exercise, you need to take the medicine that's required that you need to manage your situation. You need to drink water, you need to get into the chamber. So it's a package where we put all of those things together to help put your best foot forward health-wise. So let me give you an example. I have a patient recently who had fibromyalgia, and it would benefit people with fibromyalgia on a cellular level. But for whatever reason, I couldn't get that patient to come and try the chamber until she had a stroke, and it affected the frontal lobe of her brain. And now she may not be able to work because of that. And so now she sees the importance of getting that done. Now my goal is help her get better so she can get back to work. But wouldn't it be a blessing if it would help her fibromyalgia and she wasn't in a constant state of pain?
Exactly. What can people do to start getting introduced to this? If they want to learn more, where can they go? How can they come and check it out just to see what it's like before they make the commitment? Because they're probably going to want to anyway. But
Right. So Restoration Station is here in Springfield, Missouri. And then we also have another site down in Kimberling City, Missouri, which is right off of Table Rock Lake. Our website is O2Hyper, O2Hyper.com. And you can email us or get our phone number, which is 417-430-1925. And our email is info, I-N-F-O, at O2Hyper.com. And what we do, because people are a little intrigued about hyperbaric chamber, but a lot of times we hear, oh, I'm claustrophobic, I can't get into something like that. We give them a 30-minute trial and just kind of introduce them and talk with them and coach them through getting in the chamber. There is a medical evaluation that we need to do prior to them getting in. There are very few reasons why you can't get in, but there are reasons why you can't. And so we would go over that before we ever did the free trial. But that way it gives them an idea of, oh, this isn't a big deal. I love to get in the chamber. I consider it my time out. So no one, I mean, people can get a hold of me, but I don't let them get a hold of me when I'm in the chamber, because that's my downtime. I can meditate when I'm in there. I can read a book, or I can take a nap. And sometimes naps are important.
mhm. Or people that like to watch movies and stuff, you've talked about, you can take your tablets. For the workaholic that is having trouble squeezing everything in, that might be the time that you catch up on emails or to kill two birds with one stone. So there are a lot of ways to make it part of your lifestyle. And if you are ready to give a try, please check out Restoration Station. And anything else before we go?
I just thank you for the opportunity to spread this information to people. They really need to understand that there's lots of things out there in the world that can help you, that sometimes maybe your doctor may not understand, or they may not be exposed to it. Because one of the things they talk a lot about is they are not trained about hyperbaric oxygen therapy in medical school. And so unless they think outside the box, or something happens to them personally to where they need to know about hyperbaric oxygen therapy, it has not been widely promoted. And so do your own research. There's a couple of places that I send people to look at all the research. IHAUSA.com is the International Hyperbaric Association here in the United States. That's an organization where I hope to soon present my research on diabetic retinopathy and dry macular degeneration, and the positive effects that hyperbaric chambers have had on those patients. And then the other thing that I wanted to bring up specifically to your viewers is that hyperbaric oxygen therapy does help runners in their training and in their recovery. It helps in decreasing inflammation by pushing oxygen into the muscle, the body of the muscle, which then helps the runner do better, perform better, feel better.
Yep. Athletes want that recovery while you're resting at Restoration Station.
Definitely.
Thanks so much, Dr. Deb Williams. Come back next time and maybe we can focus in on a specific treatment and talk more about the benefits of hyperbaric oxygen therapy.
Thank you so much.